Yo, what's good? I'm Marcus. You're the channel, the Debt-Free Dad. And hey, as always, I gotta be grateful and give a big shout out to everybody who's viewing the channel, who's liking the videos, who's disliking the videos, who's leaving comments and interacting. I definitely appreciate each and every one of you. Now, this video is going to be an interesting video because it's always dope when you can talk a little bit of finance and law with something that's going on right now that's current. Hey, if you don't know, I'm an attorney. And even though I'm an attorney and licensed in a few places, none of those places amount to me being your attorney. So, hey, again, not legal, not financial advice, just infotainment purposes. Seek a professional in your area. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about antitrust law and how the NBA is allegedly hating on Ice Cube in the Big Three. We're going to dive in and we're going to look at a reaction from Steven Jackson, who gave an interesting take. I kind of disagree with what Steven Jackson was insinuating, but we're going to dive in and talk about it. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the like button so this could get out to more people. And again, thanks for the support. Now, we all know what the Big Three is, right? Hey, the Big Three. I don't even need to explain the NBA. If you don't know what the NBA is, you might have clicked on the wrong video. But let's pivot to the Big Three. The Big Three is a 3-on-3 half-court basketball league that started in 2017 by Ice Cube. Now, Ice Cube, former gangster rapper, former gangster rapper turned child actor. Like, my kids don't believe that he was a tough guy. They be like, "You mean the guy who was on Are We There Yet?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, Ice Cube was hard," but they refuse to believe it. But that's neither here nor there. Now, Ice Cube in 2017 started this 3-on-3 league, and it was a really big idea. Now, it didn't officially have the support of the NBA, but the NBA wasn't really saying anything about it. The NBA, I don't think in 2017 they were really worried about the Big Three. A 3-on-3 league, how could that really jeopardize us as the big boys in the NBA? Now, fast forward to 2023, the Big Three's ad revenue, TV sponsorships have gone up every year. So what that means is that, hey, Ice Cube is trying to turn this into something. And let's just put it in the context, right? Because I know there's going to be some people who be like, the NBA hating on a black man. Like, I don't know if they necessarily hating on a black man. Could be true, but I don't know if that's necessarily it. To start something like this and be successful, it needed a hip hop entrepreneur or someone who was in the entertainment industry. You think if it was like a 36-year-old Jewish guy or a regular, just everyday average black businessman, you know how hard it would be for him to start up a league and get retired NBA players, people who used to play in the league, to actually participate in this league? That actually requires some star power. So shout out to Cube, because he had a vision and he utilized his star power to be able to bring other athletes in. Katino Mobley. I think Allen Iverson was a player coach. He was terrible as a player. Allen Iverson, Katino Mobley. It was I think Jamal Crawford was still out there. He could still play right now. Jamal Crawford was out there snatching people up. But the Big Three has come a long way. So now it turns out that the DOJ is investigating the NBA for alleged, antitrust violations. Now, what is an antitrust violation? The Sherman Antitrust Act, it essentially makes it illegal, a crime for people to collude to control a particular market. Let's just put it in the easiest simple context. If I made widgets and you made widgets, and we were the only people making widgets in town, and we just competing with each other. My widgets was $12, you lower yours to $9.99, and we going backward and forth lowering our price. And I was like, you know what, man, I'm tired of lowering the price of the widgets. So I call you up and like, yo, how about we do this? Let's just corner the market. You make your widgets $12.99. I make my widgets $12.99. And hey, that way, no matter where they go, no matter who they buying them from, everybody's paying the same price. We not undercutting anybody. So, the whole point of, antitrust laws is to prevent collusions, to keep the marketplace fair so no one can have an advantage. So I seen a lot of videos, and I'm gonna let's go and jump into the Steven Jackson video to get his take on it real quick, and then I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know my thoughts. Oh, let me give a shout out to the channel I pulled this from. Chig Smooth. He had the video up that had a good had this take from Steven Jackson championship. I think he won it with the Spurs, if I'm not mistaken. But let's check out what Steven Jackson had to say.
Shit makes no sense. I'm first team all common sense. When it came out on social media that Q was the first black owner of a professional league, everybody wanted to post up a clout. Nobody actually wanted to come out and show up to the games. Everybody was clout chasing. Cube was going on doing interviews saying how everybody was hating on the league, blocking the sponsors. The NBA was hating. Nobody believed him. Now it's coming out to be true. And it makes sense if all the coaches that are in the Big Three are Hall of Famers and a lot of the players are ex-players from the NBA, why wouldn't you support that? Oh, I know why. We all know why. Say, man, been down since year one. I'm going to continue to support Ice Cube. I appreciate what he's doing. He's saving a lot of players who fell on hard times and a lot of guys who love the game. He's giving them a platform to still play on a high level. Salute the Cube.
Now, for those.
All right. So, watching that video, I think we all know what Steven Jackson is alluded to. Like, hey, you got this brother out here owning this league. I remember when I actually saw the article about the Big Three being like the first African American owned sports league ever. And somebody had the nerve to put in the comments, what about the Negro leagues? I was like, bro, you think back when the Negro leagues was popular, you think that was really owned by a black guy? Come on now. I don't know, man. Some people just don't think the process through. But, hey, we get what Steven Jackson is alluding to. It could be a little bit of that, but I don't think that that's necessarily it. I'm gonna be honest. If Ice Cube was, I don't know, Claudius McDermott from Iowa, I think the NBA would probably be doing the same thing. Well, DFG, why do you think that? Let's just talk about how businesses operate in general, right? And I've worked a few antitrust cases, and it revolves around pharmaceuticals. A lot of times you will see pharmaceutical companies trying to collude, like, okay, pharmaceutical company makes a drug for, I don't know, people with high blood pressure. That drug has a patent, so only this pharmaceutical company can make it. When that patent expires, all the pharmaceutical companies can make it. So they may collude to try to price fix for that particular drug. So I work cases in those contexts, but it happens all the time. A lot of times, oh yeah, what's good? What's good? A lot of times uh you'll see uh a lot of people who, businesses who try to, they try to finesse and collaborate on the low. It's the same with hospitals. How do you think hospitals get clients? Hospital gets people, either someone comes in the door or through recommendation. So hospitals contract with all the local doctors in the area and say, hey, if you got a patient, refer them to our hospital. We'll refer our patients to you. And if a doctor doesn't want to do that, that hospital may have so much pull where they like, hey, in the words of Beanie Siegel, get down or lay down. That's a common business principle that's not just used in the streets, okay? In the words of Beanie Siegel, if you have a business competitor, you're going to either get down, hey, join us and do a joint venture so we can eat off the profits, or lay down. We're going to do whatever we got to do to get you out of the way. Or if, as the cartels used to say, plata y ploma, what was it, silver or lead? And so that's normally what you'll see. When you have a competition like this, nobody immediately sees it as a threat. You know what I mean? You think Blockbuster saw Netflix as a threat? No, Blockbuster laughed at like, y'all streaming. We just going to keep selling people these VHS cassettes and these DVDs. They didn't see them as a threat. They reacted too late. But a lot of times, the first thing that a business will do is Nothing. A new business comes up, they think, they too small. It's not gonna do anything. So they really kind of ignore it. As that business grows up, sometimes you'll see an opportunity for a joint venture. You may see that larger business try to say, hey, come on in under our umbrella and we'll give you the infrastructure and the resources to build your business. Or you may see that business say, you know what, just go ahead and sell it to us right now. We'll keep doing your thing. You can still have a little percentage, but sell us the vast majority. The other time they just try to put the squeeze on them. Other times they just try to put the squeeze on them. You know what I mean? Yeah, Yahoo. Yep, Yahoo had the same thing too. Ask Jeeves. All those guys didn't want to go under the fold, so they ended up disappearing. And so it's actually not uncommon to see that. Now, I don't know if y'all remember when Ice Cube started this in 2017. Just last year, I remember seeing an article where he allowed people to invest with different packages. I think the highest was $95,000 to become have an ownership interest in a team, and I think the lowest was like $5,000. I don't know if he's still doing that, but that was in 2022 where they allowed like regular people to actually invest. So, what does that mean? Hey, how does an antitrust violation hem up Ice Cube? Well, a lot of reasons. Sponsorships. The NBA could be potentially putting the squeeze on sponsors not to support this guy. Hey, if you support this guy, we're not supporting you. Or we instead of your contract, Sprite, we're gonna go over and get this what is that knockoff one? Sierra Mist. Go get Sierra Mist. So that's one way that they can limit Ice Cube funds is by just squeezing the contractors to stall out the contractors from wanting to be a part and affiliate with Ice Cube in this league. The easiest way I think they can do it, and it would probably not really be an antitrust violation because I think it's actual a little bit more contractual based and is legitimate because businesses do this all the time, is they can adjust the language in their contract. I knew that the NBA didn't care if the older guys were playing out there, but I knew this was going to be a problem this summer when I think Jalen Green, who plays for the Boston Celtics, it was one of them all-star players was playing in the Big Three. Now, players play in leagues all the time. They play in the Drew League. They play in all these other leagues at UCLA and at running shoots across the country. So what's the issue with the Big Three? Well, the Big Three is the only one that's really making an over effort to kind of monetize and build a legitimate business. It's not just a bunch of dudes hooping in the league that could potentially cause some competition to the NBA. So what they're doing is either going to be squeezing out people from helping Cube in the Big Three, or the smartest way to do it, which I'm sure they're doing, is probably by adjusting the employment contracts of everyone. For example, NBA referees used to actually referee these Big Three games. Now, apparently, they have language in their contract that expressly bars them from performing that work outside of the function of the NBA. And that language is probably going to get incorporated into player contracts. Player contracts got crazy stuff in them, man. Player contracts you can't ride motorcycles because we don't want you to. You can't ride dirt bikes like remember Rodney Rogers with the Phoenix Suns got injured on a dirt bike and now he paralyzed. Jason Williams got injured on a motorcycle and wasted and lost his whole career. So NBA contracts can have damn near whatever you want to put in them, long as it's within reason. And it's not uncommon for an employer to have a clause in the contract that prevents you from working with a competitor during the course of your employment and for a short period of time after your employment. So I feel fairly confident that all of these NBA contracts are going to start expressly saying, yo, you can play in all the leagues you want, just not the Big Three. They probably won't say specifically just the Big Three. They'll probably say something like, hey, you are hereby prohibited from playing in any professional, organized, for-profit basketball venture. They'll put some crazy language in there to allow them to still do the hood Drew League stuff, but to expressly squeeze out Ice Cube and the NBA and Ice Cube and the Big Three. Nah, man, run and shoot used to be the spot, man. You be up in that joint waiting for 16 hours to play a game, man. That joint used to be the spot. All the NBA guys used to come through there and destroy everybody. But so that's essentially how the NBA is probably going to rectify this. Now, is the NBA going to? Hey, are they going to find evidence that the NBA is colluding to kind of put the squeeze on Ice Cube? I don't know. I would be shocked if they find evidence to do this. Because let's just think about it. If they're investigating the NBA, it's only a handful of teams out there. And those guys, man, those owners of the NBA and the NFL, they'll fight amongst themselves. But when there's some outside stuff, they zipping it up. They keep things closely held. It would have to be something like a crazy smoking gun where like a contractor expressly said, "Oh, we wanted to do a sponsorship deal with the big three, but the NBA said we couldn't do it. If we did it, we would lose that contract." It would have to be. I just don't see them finding any evidence from the NBA standpoint. They aren't going to find no phone records or no smoking gun mirror email. I just don't think that is going to be the case. I don't care how many subpoenas they issue. I don't think. I mean, these guys been around for a while. I just honestly don't think that they're that stupid. Well, Daniel Snyder might have been in the NFL, but that's neither here nor there. I don't think they're that stupid to find a smoking gun coming from internal within the league. If they find something, it's going to be from a third-party contractor who was told not to do some type of service or enter into some type of agreement with the big three, and that's how they kind of stalled them out. So that's essentially what antitrust is. I think it's just going to be a tough investigation. If they do find something, I'd be shocked if they find something internally from an owner or someone at the corporate office of the NBA. I just think that they're too smart and too organized. I have too much money to be stupid enough to make a mistake like that. Now, finding it from a third party, that might be something that's plausible, and that's probably the more likely scenario. Now, let's say, for example, or for instance, they do find enough evidence to show that the NBA actually colluded to kind of stonewall the big three to keep it from growing, to keep it from getting contracts and making money, as much money as it could. What'll be the recourse? Well, there's going to be a crap load of sanctions, a crap load of fines, but specifically the big three will actually have some legal recourse, because if it's an interference with a potential party to a contract that was stonewalled, that the NBA did something to break up that potential contract, the big three, Ice Cube, the entire league will probably have a cause of action for tortious interference with a contract. Essentially, that means that somebody intentionally did something to break up a contract that you had, and it cost you to lose money. If that's the case, they can get up to the value of the contract. It can be some damages, some punitive damages, a whole bunch of other stuff. But I just don't think that NBA owners are that stupid to do anything internally. So I would be shocked to see if this investigation actually yielded any evidence that the NBA was really doing something shady. I just think these guys been around too long. I just don't see them being that stupid, and I don't think they got I think they have too much money to actually do something that stupid. It's kind of like all of these collusion suits in the NFL that the black coaches were like, hey, they colluding not to hire us. Good luck finding evidence of that. Like, it's terrible. Hey, black coaches should get a shot, but good luck finding evidence of that. I just think at these levels, the money is too high to make ridiculous mistakes like that, where you just got some scathing piece of evidence from somebody's phone or in an email or just sitting in the fax machine that's going to be unbeknownst to actually anybody. I just don't see that happening. But we're going to see how it play out. But I can see why the NBA is actually fearful of it, right? Because right now they got like kind of older players who the new generation know about, but it's not like Michael Jordan out there playing. You know what I mean? It's like the best player I think they had was like Allen Iverson, who was a retired player. But let's just think about this 4 or 5 years from now. What if like LeBron James retires and says, I don't want to play in the big three, but I want to coach it, or I want to be a coach player just because I'm cool with Ice Cube, KD. Just think about if the current stars who are older, in their mid to late 30s on the way out, somebody like a Carmelo Anthony, that could actually be really problematic for the NBA and get a lot of eyes turned there. I tell you, I think I watched maybe, I don't know. I watched a handful of Big Three games, probably the championship games or something like that when it was in those playoff series. But it's actually interesting to watch. You know, hey, I'm old, so I like seeing old guys go out there and show the talent that they used to have. It make me feel special considering that I'm old. But that's kind of what's going on with this entire thing. Y'all let me know what y'all thoughts are in the comments. Y'all think, hey, y'all think it's a black thing? Like, nah, I don't think if it was. I think if it was a Jewish guy who owned the Big Three, I think the same thing would be happening. But y'all let me know. Y'all think it's a color thing, or y'all think it's just a business tactic thing where there is allegedly some strong arm situation going on with the NBA. Like I said, I don't think it's really a color thing. I think that's just how businesses move. So it's going to be interesting to see what this yields and what what Ice Cube's recourse is going to be if there is a finding that the NBA colluded with contractors and others to try to, stifle the growth of the Big Three. That's going to be interesting. Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's straight business tactic, man. I ain't one of them people who gonna just be like, it's always a black and white thing. Like, nah, this business, man. Like, let's put this in street terms, okay? You think if the NBA was a street crew, right, and another crew came in offering a very similar product that started growth, you think they're gonna be like, oh nah, man, we both look alike. So I'm perfectly cool with you operating in my space and potentially taking money out of my pocket. Go on. Well, no, that's not gonna happen. It's the same way the guys on the street don't want nobody in their playhouse. Hey, businesses act exactly the same. I just tell people all the time, the best friends you're gonna have as a YouTube creator. The best friends you're gonna have in YouTube as a content creator are people who have more subscribers than you. Oh man, let you get more subscribers and more views than like a peer who you came up with. Oh man, some people act real crazy. It's real sensitive, like, hey, sometimes some people think there's enough for everybody to eat out here, and some people think that now it's enough for me to eat. You can have these chitlins over here, but the rest of the ribs and the everything else is mine. You can have them pig ears and snouts over there. That's how some people think when it comes to business. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it play out. Yo, if y'all like this video, y'all make sure to check out the video that's on the screen. I'm shutting this down early because I got on my gym gear. I got to do a late workout, and those always go bad. I used to be able to go to the gym at like 11, 12 workout. Now I'm like, man, if I don't go to the gym before 6:30, most days I ain't going. But I made up my mind. I'm not going to the gym. I'm gonna work out in this house right here. I got my elliptical over there, my weight bench there, my pull-up bars over there. I'm gonna do the home DFD workout with my budget gym with all my equipment. Cost me like $600 or $700. I don't know. It was cheap as hell. I got it off eBay and offered up. There's a video out there somewhere about my cheap ass home gym. Y'all take care. Be blessed. Peace.